Well, let's talk about their strengths, and no surprise here. Chase Young and that defensive line, it's the real deal. This team has multiple first round picks on that D line, and their star is Chase Young, who's a beast, man. Like, and on the other side, there's Montez Sweat, who's like got insane speed for a defensive end. And then, up in the middle, they got Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, who are studs in the middle. This this is gonna be a real challenge for this offensive line. It's gonna be tough, and I'd argue this D line is just as good, maybe if not better, than the Steelers front four. And this is a team that can rush with four. So uh, what are we gonna do with the secondary that we're gonna play against? But this front four is the real deal.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this front four. Um, you said comparing them to Pittsburgh. I think right now in his career, T.J. Watt I would rate as a slightly better player than Chase Young at this point. But
Hmm.
for like defensive line in particular, I'm looking more at the sum of the parts um, versus individual players. And we looked at Pittsburgh and what they did to us, and they had just put Stephon Tuitt on injured reserve. Um, this team it has their full stables across the line. You know, there's not a weakness at any point on that front four. Montez Sweat is a problem too. I just
Hmm.
I think this is probably I would probably put this as the biggest test for our offensive line this year, and
Hmm.
I'm really interested to see what our offense does to kind of give them a little help and see how they hold up against this front four.
Yeah, and in that Steelers game, what the offensive line did is they shifted basically everyone from Mitch Morse over, so Ford and Darrell Williams to the right to accommodate for TJ Watt. And I'm curious on and that obviously led to Feliciano being on an island against Cam Hayward, and we all know how that ended up. So I I'm curious if they're going to shift left or right depending on which defensive end they think is more of a problem. Or maybe they'll just play him straight up and just leave the tackles on the island, and well, we'll see how that goes too. And I don't know. I'm just thinking of all the worst possible ways that this game could go because of this matchup, and it just gives me goosebumps personally. I'm just like, oh god, I don't want the Bills to be on a highlight tape. I want this line to be good. I know they can play better than what they're doing right now, but they're just not doing it.
Yeah, and for me, the slide protections are a dangerous game because you got a defensive end on the other side of the field and Sweat that's, as you said, ridiculously fast, and you open yourself up to opening new gaps and being vulnerable to stunts and things of that
Hmm.
nature. So yeah, I don't only like project this to be the strength of Washington. I think this was I legitimately think this is one of the best front fours in the league.